Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Andy.
And I'm Will.
And today we have our friend Ivan with us. He has a great story of his own life in real estate and a lot of different transitions and pivots for a lot of different reasons. I'm not going to do any spoilers. We're going to get right into it. But Ivan, first of all, thank you for joining us today on the show.
Yes, I'm so privileged to have such a good friend that I've known for so many years. I mean, I call him my nephew because it's just, we've go that. And you know how us Hispanics do it. We're like just, eres mi hermano. It's what it is. We've known you like that, so it's what it is. But Ivan, thank you so very much for coming on to this. We're all about giving back to our community, all about encouraging our community that they're able to do certain things, in life. And sometimes we worry, we overthink about, I want to get into that business endeavor. And we just pump the brakes because we think it's like, I hate failure.
Yes.
But here you are. I mean, you're going to be one of my favorite here interviewing because you have a lot to share.
Yeah, there's quite a story. You've amassed quite I'll say a career, but also your own experiences in investing in real estate and in business. So we're going to get all to that, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I want to go back to the beginning. If we can start at the beginning, if that's okay with you.
Yes, absolutely.
How did you start in real estate, and what did you do in real estate?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to your show. This officially, I'm going to be transparent, vulnerable. This is my first official podcast.
Nice.
Awesome.
So it's actually cool.
It's our first too. This is our first show ever.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you for having me here, guys. I love this. And to answer your question, Andy, it all started in real estate. In 2005, I used to teach. I used to be a teacher at Castle Park High School for the Sweetwater Union High School District. I taught special ed.
I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah, believe it or not, I graduated from high school in 96. I spent about 10 years of my life, or 7 years of my life, 7.5 years of my life, community college, changing my majors like 10 different times. And then I ended up working for the Sweetwater Union District as a tutor. And then once I got my degree and a bachelor's degree, the principal, Miss Castillejas, that's her name, Venezuelan lady, gave me the opportunity to teach under an emergency credential and in the early 2000s. And then in 2005, my brother opened a mortgage company, him and his partner, and they pulled me into the company to work. And I had no knowledge in mortgages, real estate, anything. They were just like, hey, dude, just take a leave of absence from teaching. I know you love it. You love your weekends off, because I love my weekends off. And they were just almost, they were encouraging me to do it, but I was like, I like my comfortable, predictable lifestyle, which nothing wrong with it, teaching Monday through Friday. But they convinced me. Got my real estate license in 2005. And I don't know anything about real estate. I was just a salesman with a license, right?
Same. Yeah. I didn't know anything in 2005 either.
That's crazy.
I didn't know what an escrow was, what a title report was. I didn't know anything. My tutor was Crystal Santana. Shout out to her. She taught me everything about transaction coordination from A to Z.
Wow.
And that's where it started. And I just adopted a niche in real estate. I was a real estate agent, right? Not a real estate investor. Real estate agent.
Of course.
Different things. People confuse. Oh, you're a real estate agent, so tell me about investing. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Some real estate agents are very savvy, very seasoned in investing, but the average agent, they're salespeople, and my hat's off to them. And I was a salesman, so I started selling properties. I was a real estate agent, and that's how I started getting exposed to other aspects of real estate investing, which has nothing to do with real estate agents.
Right.
And I remember I attended a first seminar called Mike Watson Institute. It's the art and science of real estate investing.
Whoa. Yeah, wow.
And he was my first mentor from Provo, Utah, Mormon, nice guy. And as I was being a real estate agent, traditional real estate agent, doing traditional sales, I was taking some of his courses for like about 2 years. Or 3 years, and then in 2009, when the market crashed, I got my rear kicked off. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. I lost about $6 million, filed bankruptcy. Well, let me backtrack a little bit.
So wait, let me backtrack back to that $6 million.
Let me backtrack a little bit.
How did you earn that $6 million?
I'm sure you're going to go a different tangent. We have to come back to it and say, what was that? That was a singular $6 million loss, or are you saying cumulative across a lot of things? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll come back to that. So
absolutely. So I was teaching. Back then I think it was like $40,000 a year, which was a great living. Good.
Yeah, of course.
It was comfortable. I was happy. Simple life. I was happy. Going into real estate, going into the real estate industry as a salesman, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have witnessed this. I was going from $40,000 a year to $100,000 a month for almost 24 months. So imagine at 27 years old, making $80,000 to $100,000 a month for 24 months at 27.
Imagine
that's
that.
a bad
Jeez.
Yeah.
dude. Even nowadays, purchase power is a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was 27, single, it was like a double-edged sword, and I didn't know how to steward that money, and I overinvested on inflated prices, homes, assets. I purchased too many homes, jumbo loans, on just on speculative that they were going to continue to go up in value.
Correct.
And
just like anything.
Yeah, and then when the bubble burst, I got my rear kicked.
Handed to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ivan,
yes.
let me ask you this. You started in 2005.
Yes.
You were a teacher.
Yes.
Were you performing both duties still even after you had your real estate license?
No, actually, good question, Memo. I actually took a leave of absence from the Sweetwater Union High School District in 2005. I was very honest with the principal. I told her what my brother had proposed to me, and she was very supportive. She goes, Ivan, my hat's off.
Wow.
Go out and we're going to miss you, but the doors will always be open.
Nice.
So you go out there. If they don't work, if things don't work out, which I wanted to work out, you have somewhere to come back.
Gotcha.
And never been back to teaching
So
in that context, but I always find myself teaching in real estate and other stuff.
So
I
you're
love
still
teaching.
on leave right now then, 19 years later.
Yeah, technically, I'm still on leave of absence.
I took a leave of absence 19 years ago, and here we are.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to go back someday.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's pretty cool. What a great story,
Wow.
right? I mean, you're going and what a journey. So you're in 2005. You took a leave of absence there. You started saying, you haven't gone back because it was a very lucrative
Yes.
business for you.
Yes.
And I know you fast forward to 2009, you got handed $6 million. Well, what was that portfolio looking like at that point in time? Because
that
you
point-
built that pretty quick, 4 years, right, Andy?
That's really
Yes.
fast, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you, guys. And I mean, I had a lot of rental properties in affluent neighborhoods, like in East Lake, homes that I will buy for $900,000 and flip them for 1.2 in 3 or 4 months or in 6 months. And some of them I was renting with intentions to flip or sell in the future. And I had a lot of these properties, I had them on these teaser loans, option arms. I mean, there's all these acronyms and all these euphemisms for these loans, but there was these adjustable rates that were very aggressive. And I didn't, I wasn't a savvy or seasoned or experienced investor. I was just a salesman, real estate agent with the banks were just releasing money. And I was like, okay, we qualify to buy these 10 homes in the woods.
Right.
So you buy them, right? If you buy these 10 houses
Yeah.
and you flip them and you make a margin of 100,000 or 2 times 10, well, wow, that's,
Yeah.
I thought I was a genius, right?
Yeah.
No. So I got stuck. When I bought all those homes, market crashed, values went down, my payment went up, and the rent stayed the same. So I was in a deficit, and I had to feed that deficit for almost a year. I was like almost 80,000 a month for a year deficit, feeding it the deficit, 80,000. It was draining until I exhausted, depleted, and I had no other option but to resort and start a bankruptcy through my bankruptcy attorney.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a very, I was 29, 30.
Wow.
And it was very, I feel like humiliated, but because it was my first time going through a financial crisis, my credit was amazing. And now, like, everything was just gone.
Yeah.
And I remember my bankruptcy attorney just told me, Ivan, there's nothing you can do. You've been acting in good faith. Everybody got hurt. Everybody's bleeding.
Yeah.
But you don't have other choice, and you can rebuild your credit in
Of
3
course.
years, man. He was an amazing guy.
That's the beauty of the U.S.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a couple thoughts. First is like if you took a beating, that means you were in the market, and if you were in the market, you took a beating.
Yes.
Like that. It's just they went together. So anyone who's got that kind of like I got clobbered story, it's because you were in and you were doing something.
Yes.
And there's gonna be people in the comments like, why you over leverage your loans? Fine, go find a guy who was in the business in 2005, 6, and 7 who didn't do that. Good luck.
Yes.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two. I was going to say, later on, we're going to get to this part where there's this amazing, I'm going to call it a recovery story.
Okay.
Because most people don't come back from that. They
Yes.
go, oh, I had this $6 million loss or $500,000 loss. Let's lessen that. And they go, oh, I had to file BK. My ego's been hit. My life's been hit. My finances are wrecked. My credit is crap.
Yes.
And they don't even find their way back onto a course where there's success again. But I know you have had that, and the people are going to learn this, that you've had success once again, and even I would say maybe even greater successes than you had
Yes.
before.
Yes.
And There had to be a pivot point, though.
Yeah.
So what you're mentioning, you had this awesome bankruptcy attorney.
Yes.
Was that the pivot point, or was there something else that happened that kind of made you go, "Uh-oh, or not uh-oh, but there's a change, and I'm liking it."
You mean? Well, my attorney said you don't have a choice, so you just have to file, so you can start again.
Yeah.
And you can get how do you call them? I forgot these credit cards, Visa credit cards. Forgot, but you can start rebuilding your credit.
Of course, of course.
And that was a pivotal moment because I'm like, there's nothing else I can do. So I filed bankruptcy, and I was gonna go back to teaching. And I was cool. I was
That's
happy.
when teaching looked good again. Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to
Stability.
teaching. That's what I love. That's what I know. Got my weekends off. And you know what? Before I went back to teaching, I was like, I'm going to take a month off. I'm going to just process all this. And during that month, I was processing, just meditating, reflecting, going back to teaching, planning that out. One of my friends, Elias, good friend of mine, who grew up here in South Bay in Chula Vista. He was living at the time in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
He was there for about a year. He was there by himself with his wife. He didn't know anybody in Phoenix. He was just there because he couldn't get a job here, and he got a job there. So he goes, Ivan, I'm trying to find a house. I know you're an agent. Can you help me find a house over here? And I'm like, well, dude, I'm not licensed in Arizona. I'm only licensed in California. By the way, I'm not gonna be an agent anymore. I'm going back to teaching. This is what happened, but I'll go out there for a weekend and just cheer you up and help you as much as I can. So I went there.
Famous last words. I'll be there just for the weekend, right? Yeah.
Just for the weekend.
I'm just gonna take a leave of absence for the next 19 years.
And I'm sure, Ivan. I mean, you're saying this story, but I can already feel that pain and that not trusting in your actions. Possibly, somebody after going through what you went through, I could just picture you getting on the plane or driving to Arizona, kind of like with your head down. You're hoping that you're making the right decision because Elias is like a brother too. We've known him for so many years.
Yes.
I mean, he's like a really very close to you.
He's my ride or die buddy. I've known him for over 25 years.
You know what I mean? Wow. So yeah, keep sharing.
So I showed up to Phoenix. I drove to Phoenix. Flying was a luxury already. So I had to drive to Phoenix on borrowed money. So I went there. I stayed at his house. I crashed at his couch. And throughout that weekend, we're looking for properties for him and with the agent. And I realized that I saw a few low-density multifamily units that were for sale. That said, bank loan foreclosures. This is January
10?
209.
209. Oh. Okay, we're still there.
Yeah.
Wow. So the same year you did the BK, you noticed these. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a tight window. Okay.
So January 2009, I started my BK process. Mm-hmm. And my BK was not completely discharged until April 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. Later.
Yeah.
So I went to Arizona in 2009 for the weekend. I realized that there was opportunity. You were able to buy 4 units or 4plexes for $5,000 a door.
Jesus.
Or $10,000 a door.
Where are those days?
Wait. So you were buying a 4plex for like $20,000, $25,000?
Yes. I'll still give you the address though. One of the ones was 2213 East Fillmore Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85006. It was a 2-bedroom house in the front, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, brick built, and in the back was a triplex, 1 building, 3 units, 2 units. I mean 3 units. They're all 2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Wow.
And I picked those up for. Picked that one up for like $25,000. So it was probably like $6,000 a door.
Oh my God!
I don't need fact check me in the comments. Can somebody go online and find a brand new Toyota Corolla for $25,000?
Not even.
Okay,
it's not gonna happen.
You found this 4plex. You look at it and you see these.
Yes, and I was broke. I didn't have no money, so I called the agent. Hey, I'm calling about this property. Looks nice. What's the price? And back then in 2009, a property of that profile in Chula Vista, bank loan was probably going for like $500,000. Which is a great deal.
Yes.
Over there was going for
$25,000. Jeez.
That's about 4 times 5. That's about 2,000% less.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when he gave me that price, quoted me the price, listing price, I'm like, no, hold on. And I repeated the address. Like, no, I think you got the wrong address. I'm here. I'm at 2213 East Fillmore. And he goes, no, that's the. And I have more other listings that I haven't been able to sell. On the other side of the street, on the next block. I'm like, really?
What?
He goes, well, I can be there like in 30 minutes, and that's what started everything. He showed up. Terry Cash showed up, and I'm still great friends with him. He showed up. He showed me the property, good bones. It probably needed about was probably 2 ACs missing, a few water heaters. It needed about $20,000 to rehab or $5,000 a door to rehab. or $20,000 to rehab the whole property.
Yeah.
So the total takedown was like about $45,000 plus closing costs.
Unreal.
So I'm like, okay, I'm interested. He goes, well, you have to you can't get it has to be a cash offer because you know these are not bank financeable because there's some stuff missing. All right, cool. Well, you need a proof of funds. I need that by tonight or tomorrow, and give me, I can write up the offer for you.
Unreal.
And that's how it started. I had no money, and he goes, I told him, yeah, I got the cash. So I don't know where I was gonna get the cash from,
But we'll figure that out.
Yeah. So I called I reached out to like 20 people. Everybody said no.
Everybody's broke at this time,
Like,
Ivan.
hey, I don't have no
It's
money either.
2009. 2009, I think it broke a lot of people,
They're
know?
like,
Yes.
Wrong number.
Yeah,
No, I know you. That's the right number.
Dude, it was like, well, how many have you done so I can invest in you? I'm like, well, none. Well, go do a few.
Yeah.
Do a few, get some under your belt, and we'll talk again.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So it was like 20 no's, and one yes. It was Uncle Frank. He's
Nice.
Shout out to Uncle Frank.
Yeah, Uncle
Wow,
Frank.
Uncle Frank. Okay.
He's a nurse at Rady Children's. Amazing guy. He's my Uncle Frank, and I reached out to him, and he knew my whole situation. He knew I was, I had filed bankruptcy. I had taken a hit, and he knew why. He goes, the market is not you, Ivan. As things happen, and just regroup. I proposed to him this deal. I'm like, Uncle Frank, there's about four places we can get for like 40 grand. And this is what I'm proposing. I'm proposing if you can finance these all cash, we'll set up an operation agreement. We'll put the property under an LLC, and we'll put a promissory note that describes your funding. And then once we sell the property, as long as you commit for 5 years, we can go 50-50 on the rents and 50-50 on the capital gains when we sell the property in 5 years. And then you'll recover your capital, your initial capital, your $45,000.
That's in, yeah.
Plus the capital, we'll split it 50-50. And he goes, I'm in.
Amazing.
And that's how I started. I think I bought 2 properties with his funding. And then that started creating a lot of traction and noise.
And this is 2009.
This is January 2009.
My God. So you went out of default,
Yes.
to Arizona,
Yes.
drove over there because obviously like you mentioned, flying was a luxury.
Yes.
And here you are buying multi-duplex or quadplex,
Yes.
2 of them. Not
Yes.
just one. Let's not give up with one.
Yeah, let's not give
go
one.
for
It's 2. But
Yes.
let's like a quick pit stop here for everyone watching.
Yeah.
There's sometimes this misconception, especially in social media space, that I have to have it all together first before I can do something.
Exactly.
And in this case, what you're saying is you had a benefactor, someone who was willing to believe in you,
Yes.
see the vision, understand what was going on, and make an unemotional choice to back and support that.
Correct.
And I think a lot of times, well, I shouldn't say a lot. I don't know how many times, but I know I see it where people think, I've got to have all this stuff done first before I can take the first step, before I can make the first decision. And this is clearly not the case, as you're saying here.
But this is,
Yes.
and this is the point that I wanted to give on top of that. Here you are at a loss, filed for bankruptcy. You're going through a huge loss, not figuring out how am I going to recuperate this?
Right.
Because you're looking at a quadplex, 2 of them
Yep.
at 45 a piece. You're at 100,000. That's not $6 million.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to tell your mindset, I'm going to start slow again.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And start. They have the tenacity
Start.
to even do it, not just back off and be all
my point.
shy.
Yes.
That's my point. And again, that's why I want to bring somebody like Ivan.
Damn.
Because that's resiliency right there.
Oh,
That is
100%.
just like, hey, the world's falling apart on me.
Yes.
I could either dig a hole, go under a cave, right? For a while, right there. Because that's
Yes.
what a lot of us do. We want a pity party,
Yeah.
and we feel sorry for ourselves.
Yes.
But Ivan, you took the leap of faith to saying, I still hold a real estate license just here in
Yes.
Cali. I'm going to go to Arizona. I can't
Yes.
even represent you, bro, but I'm going to go look with you. You
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so surreal. But let me backtrack a little bit. What gave me the confidence to start buying these units, because remember, while I was a real estate agent, I was taking some courses, workshops with Mike Watson Institute. So he gave me a lot. He probably taught me 20 concepts of real estate investing, the highest and best use of real estate. So I only adopted 1 or 2 of his concepts out of 20 concepts. And I said,
That's crazy.
the time is now. I can't sell properties. People are not buying. Banks are not lending. But there's properties really cheap in Phoenix, rentals. So what about now if I just now participate and be active, but on the other side, of the fence as an investor and long-term hold, because it has delayed gratification. So I mean, I don't know how much time we have, but I'm just gonna.
We got time.
We got time, man.
We got time.
So yeah, Uncle Frank, that was the first 2 transactions with him. That's what catapulted me to buying about 68 or 70 properties, 70 escrows.
Wait. 68 or 70?
Yes, I had about close to 500 doors, dude. This is so real. I mean, I can't. I'm not
This is
trying to preach
before-
religion around, but it was God. It's a God story.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So it was 68 or 70 from 2009 to 2012.
You had so many you
3
lost
years.
track. I don't know if it was
Yes.
68 or 70.
And I think I had about 25 investors throughout those 3 years, and I was on partnerships on all of them. And I started building my own rental property management through my own staff gradually. I started with 4 doors, 8 doors, and it went up to almost 500 doors.
God.
So I think I became very comfortable with Arizona by the first.
Wow.
After the first year, I was comfortable. I embraced it as my second home. I knew all the streets. I knew the people. I was a regular at these restaurants. I built great relationships with real estate agents, REO agents, which are real estate agents that represented banks on bank-owned properties that were
Yeah.
foreclosed.
Yeah.
And I made great relationships with a lot of local private money guys who lend based on assets, not based on your credit.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
And that's how I started.
Because they're looking at cash flow, looking at the totality of the portfolio, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because if they're doing a risk assessment, they're not just looking at you, they're looking at you and all the stuff you have.
Everything
Yeah.
I was buying, they were like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I hope you default so I can foreclose it on you. Because Ivan, if I'm going to lend you $45,000 and the property's bringing
Sure.
in $600 per unit, that's
Yeah.
$2,400 a month. That's
Yeah.
I don't know, $30,000 a year.
Right.
On $45,000, it's only a year and a half to get my money back. So I hope you default. I
Yeah,
foreclose on you.
they'll take
Go
that
buy
wager
more.
all day long and
Yes.
twice on Sunday, right? As the
Yes.
saying goes. Yeah, every day of the week and
Dang.
twice on Sunday.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's awesome how he just has his numbers already like in his head.
That is nuts.
Yeah, and
know?
then after 3 years, everything kind of started getting really. I was buying these properties in Phoenix, and most investors or hedge funds from New York were buying stuff in bulk and tapes. I mean, it got all these
Yeah,
different
exactly.
names. That they were buying newer properties on track communities. I was buying stuff more like the equivalent of older communities where there's no HOA, older communities with multifamily zonings, and that's a niche that I just adopted accidentally, and I just kept on a 15 by 15 mile radius, and that became my area of expertise, and I stayed busy there for like 3 years.
Wow.
And people will invite me to go and participate and buy stuff in Las Vegas and Texas, and I'm like, dude, I can't even handle the steak right here. There's a lot of stuff. I'm busy here.
Wow.
And that's another attribute to our outcome, our success, that we just stayed focused in our areas of expertise. I'm not discouraging anybody to invest, in other states, but if you have traction in a particular area, just maximize it. Once you're tapped out, then go to a different area. But try to stick in. I mean, this is for real estate investors. Try to become before you go to other areas, or other cities. And I'm not discouraging.
No, of course. But you're saying familiarize yourself. You're already
Yes.
familiar with the area. You understand it. Why not stay right there if there's
Exactly.
still plenty of room to grow there?
Exactly.
I mean, audience, this is great nuggets here. This you don't have to join a mentorship. These are great
And
nuggets.
I think part of that is the undertone of mastering what's already in front of you versus
Yes.
just trying to get spread too thin everywhere else. Like master what's in front of you because
Yes.
there's still what I'm hearing you say in a 15 by 15 mile block
Radius.
or whatever radius.
Yeah.
There was still more to do
Yes.
in that area, but it was also like you knew it all. It was like kind of back of the hand, second
Yes.
nature. Is that too? I know I'm
Yes.
using different words, but
Yes.
that's what it sounds like.
Yes.
Well, I had the privilege of actually traveling with Ivan to Arizona a few years ago. It was like maybe 5-6 years ago. We had a great time. Flew over there.
Oh, you flew?
And- oh yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
drive?
Luxury,
You can
no
fly
longer
this
the
time?
thing.
Yeah.
When you have making a couple of pennies here and there, that's no longer a luxury, right? But yeah, we get there, and it's always so cool when you see somebody working in their element.
Yes.
And you just see the way they carry themselves and everything. I was just watching like Ivan at I was like,
Wow.
that's impressive because I can see him talking to people. I can see him go to his properties. Exactly. And the cool thing is when you walk to these properties, right, even though he's got a property manager, the tenants, they know him.
Wow.
Like they know him. They kind of want to bring him for dinner and all that. And I'm like, this is
Wow.
not your slumlord type of person
No,
here.
not
You know
at
what I
all.
mean? This
Yeah.
is a good guy. Like,
Yeah.
so it was pretty cool. And thank you for the invite. I know we're to do it again and go
Yeah.
have fun again, this time in a different state. But,
Yes.
it's always good seeing people in their element. And I totally see that you're very good at what you do.
Thank you, Memo. Thank you, and
Yeah.
thank you, Andy. And in 2012, I started getting calls from a few investors. I had like 20-something investors, 25.
25.
And they started because by 2009 and 2012, properties had appreciated, significantly. And that's when investors started calling me out. Ivan, markets had gone up. Let's try to sell. And I'm like, okay, let's sell. Or you find your own appraisal that you trust, bring the appraisal, and I'll buy you out.
Yeah.
You select the appraisal, and you tell me what the properties. I already know what the properties were worth, and it worked out great. I bought it. Most of the, I had about 2 to 3 properties per investor. So for them, it made more sense to sell. So what I did is I cherry picked the ones. They're all great properties. They're not. They're all different. They're all my favorites.
Yeah.
Ones. But I cherry picked the ones that I wanted to keep. So I think we deposed or sold about 45 or 45 properties, and we kept 20. I kept 20.
Yeah.
So in order, I wanted to keep all of them, but I couldn't.
Of course.
So I had to depose, sell 45 properties, and pay off all my investors, and I kept 20 properties, which I still own in Phoenix. And I'm never gonna sell them. I mean, that's my bread and butter.
Legacy.
Yes.
How many doors are those 20 that you have left?
More or less, about close to 100 doors.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean those fourplexes are not worth 25,000 or 50,000.
No, of course not. Yeah,
1.5 million.
They're worth 30,000. No.
Yes.
Wow. What?
but you got to remember, we're already
Yeah.
what's that? 10, 13, 14 years in.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're in this now.
Appreciation's gone up. You know what I mean?
But the lesson there is like the resilience and tenacity is one to do this stuff. The other is the patience. The patience to let this play out, and also the flexibility to go, fine, you want to be bought out, I'll buy you out, or we'll sell it and you can be made whole.
Correct.
Like that's good business strategy. There's wisdom in that, but also holding back and cherry picking. There's again strategy in that. There's wisdom in that.
Yes.
Wow, man.
There's a lot of wisdom and a lot of fun.
Hold on. You know what I want to know? What'd you do wrong in the last 15 years, Ivan? Did you do anything wrong along the way? Because I'm hearing it
perfect.
now. No, I know. I know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to out you. I'm just saying like, man, it sounds like all of that went according to plan. That's not always the case for everybody.
No.
So not everything went according to plan.
No, everything went. I just stayed focused in a very particular niche, and that's what a lot of people deviate from staying focused. They get distracted with this endeavor, that endeavor, and this endeavor. You just had I just stayed, had tunnel vision and just stick to what you do best. Stay in your lane, which in my lane was real estate, low income. Real estate, low density, multifamily, 4 to 10 units, and I became an expert, and I slept it, I breathed it. I breathed it, slept it, ate it.
Everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just second nature, and I forgot what I was gonna say, but I lost track.
No worries. I know you're getting excited with all of this, but it's just you made it look so easy. So now you're 20 properties in there.
Yes.
When was it that when you landed back to San Diego and you decided, okay, here I am. Now I was in Arizona because obviously, so you were in 2009. You go and you see, our brother over there.
Yes.
And so you stayed there. You started, hey, bling, I'm going to move over here.
Yes.
Did you move to Arizona immediately, or what was that process look like?
I was in Arizona for 6 years. So
Okay.
I was in Arizona from 2009 to 2015. My plan was to be there for a weekend. Then I saw opportunity. Then I'll be here for like a year. Then 1 year turned into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Then by 2000,
Just taking leave.
Yes.
I'm just taking leave.
Yeah.
So by 2013, 14 is when I started kind of like settling. The market was still good, but I needed a break.
Yeah.
And I was 34. I needed a break, and I'm comfortable with what I have. I don't want to be too greedy, and I'm not trying to be mediocre either. Okay.
No, of
I
course,
know my
of course.
capacity. I need to take a little bit of a breather before we go back out there and execute again.
Because it's a grind. It's not
Yes.
easy, right?
No.
I mean, here it is. You've always been so humble. And that's
Yes.
one thing you have about you, Ivan, is you've always been so humble, and you make things look so easy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you took that break because it wasn't that easy. It took
No.
a grind. It took stress. It took things
Yes.
that I'm sure at times you felt like, is this going to really work?
Yes. You always get that fear, and that's normal. But it gets to a point where you start getting comfortable and confident. And there's always going to be challenges, but those challenges are easy to mitigate or to, or to overcome them once you're confident on what you do. But going back to when I pay, so I'm gonna act. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
There's something I want to share with you, Memo.
Yeah.
So when my investors said, Ivan, we want to sell, I cherry picked 20 properties or 25 properties.
Yeah.
And I cherry picked the ones that had that had the capacity to increase more square footage or density. Like right now, the property that you shared with me.
On the land.
These sold right now. I kept like 4 plexes on half an acre lots, which the city allows me to build 20 more units, 10 more units. So there's still more room to increase and enhance equity on those properties.
Yeah.
So when the market resets, I don't know, people call it crash, reset. I don't know what it is, but whatever. When that adjustment happens after election, materials drop, prices of material construction
Yeah, the
drops,
inflation's at a better level.
that's when I'm going to go out there and then maximize each property and then
Yeah.
maximize the highest and best use of each property. Some properties are zoned to be residential, mixed use, retail, commercial, and that's when the fun's going to begin. And actually, we're going to go to the East Coast,
Yeah.
Memo.
Yeah.
We're going to go and we're probably going to buy higher density apartment units, maybe 50 units, 100 units. That's where we're heading. That's the next chapter. We did low density. Now we want to go high density, and it's an amazing asset to be proactive in.
All I say is, oh.
Watch
Beware.
Watch out.
Because I tell you, Ivan, when he puts it on, he puts it on. So, here we go. You're 2009, 2015, you come to San Diego.
Yes.
Was that the same thing that you said? You came for the weekend and then you just stayed?
Wow, good question. Sorry.
It's a recurring theme.
I went on
it's
subject.
just for this weekend.
Yeah.
So 2015, I decided to, actually 2014, I was like, but I was already with my wife. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. And she was pregnant with my daughter, Natalia, my 10-year-old daughter. And she's from San Luis, Missouri. And I'm from California. I'm Hispanic. She's, Ukrainian, she's third generation Ukrainian Jew and Hungarian.
Yeah.
And I was actually across my mind to go live to her hometown, which is San
What?
Luis, Missouri. So I went out there for a week, and I'm like, I love the culture. I love the people, but the weather is too extreme. So, and then I talked her into coming to San Diego for a weekend and checking it out. And she fell in love with San Diego. So we came back. We came to Chula Vista in March 2015. And we made our home here. At the time, it was my wife and I and my daughter. And I took like a year break from 2015 to 2016. My wife and I were just trying to, kind of settle in Chula Vista, kind of helping her with a little bit of a homesick, getting used to the culture, the climate, people here, because it's different than Arizona. And then I got bored, and I'm like, well, because I live off my rents, right? I'm the income.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound cocky.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You
but
worked at it.
It's income.
Yeah.
It's earned income.
But we were bored. I'm like, dude, I'm 35, and okay, we go to the gym. I take my daughter to Montessori. My wife and I, it's an amazing life,
Yeah.
but there's more. We have a higher purpose. This is not where life ends.
I love that.
I don't want to retire. So in 2016, my wife and I were approached by one of my aunts, amazing lady, who approached me to investing with her in a venue for weddings, for hospitality venue for weddings, private events, sweet 16s, bar mitzvahs, and I was new. There was a new endeavor that was introduced to me, and when I did my research, we pulled the trigger, and we're still in it, and that's another story that I can share with you guys.
Yeah, please do, because that's crazy. Because I saw you. We were at Starbucks. I see you. We get in my car, and then you go and you tell me, hey, I'm in this new endeavor. And I'm like, ooh.
Wait, what?
I'm like, what? So come on, let's go check it out. So there you go.
Yes.
We get on the 805. We get off El Cajon Boulevard. We turn to the left, and there's an event that he's actually created, Vaza.
Yes.
You know? And that's VASA.
Yes.
And it's an event for wedding planning, quinceañeras, and all that good stuff. I'm like,
Yes.
what? Wait. It's still related to real estate, though.
Yes.
Right? So on our way up there, and I'm sorry I get excited on this because I see now where it's at. This guy just, everything he touches, please touch my hand so I can turn into gold.
There you go. Boom.
Thank you.
Boom.
Right? But those are the things that happen. He gets so excited about it. He knew how to negotiate. And this is commercial. Remind you, everything he's done has been residential.
Right.
Yes.
So now we go, and he's telling me I'm more excited than he is.
Yeah.
So there we go.
This was in 16. Your aunt was like, "Hey, I got this idea." Was it her idea, or she saw a deal? What came first?
Good question, Andy. Actually, she was an event coordinator
okay.
and planner, and she was she was mobile, but she wanted to have her own venue, and she needed an investor, and she reached out to me and proposed something amazing. And I did my due diligence for about 30 days, and then we're in. We set up an operation agreement. We created this LLC, this company. We found the location in North Park, and it was a beautiful location. It had a lot of potential, but it was a dilapidated property. It had no running air, no AC, no water, no electricity. It needed a lot of love. It was vacant.
A lot.
There was homeless outside the building, drug addicts shooting up. But it was a great location, so we decided to reach out to the listing agent, the commercial agent from Deuce. What's his name? I forgot.
No worries, you're good. We don't want to give him too many kudos.
I forgot his name. Nice, amazing guy. And
Okay.
He came to the property. We said we helped us put a letter of intent, and in June 2016 is when we had our first event, our first Sweet
That's
16.
crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
And then she ran it. She did a good job. And in 2020,
Jeez.
COVID hits, and everybody shut down, and we were shut down for about a year, and that was a little bit of a challenging experience.
A little? Yeah. Again, he's so modest.
Yeah, that was a big experience for her because the landlord had no mercy. He he like, you guys have to pay rent, and
Of course.
our fix
Sure.
our fixed expenses were, whether we're open or not, we had to write a check for $20,000 every month, more or less, about $20,000, and it was, almost $250,000 in deficit after a year. And my aunt and I talked about either selling the business or me being involved, because when I invested in this business as a capital partner, not as a manager,
operator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
Not
had
as
no
an
experience,
operator. Right.
And that was the agreement. But when this happened, she's an operator, but the operator can operate. So now I had to jump in and now become an operator and a problem solver, which I did it, which I had to do it. Otherwise, I signed on a 10-year lease.
Sure.
With personal guarantees, so I didn't have a choice, and it was a scary situation.
Well, yeah, because it very
Yeah.
much. I'm listening to you, and I'm hearing, oh, here you go, $20,000 every month going out. Sounds a lot
Yes.
like that $80,000 debt
Yes.
servicing you were doing back in 2009,
vu.
right? I'm just
PTSD.
boom, boom, throwing this money out. It's like
Yes.
just taking batches of hundreds and running through the shredder.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I talked to my aunt, and she decided she was okay with me coming in and helping her as an operator too. And thank God there was all these SBA loans, idle loans, which we took advantage for the good and using the money wisely. And I renegotiated with the landlord. He renewed the lease. We came with great terms, viable terms. I leveraged the deficit, and it was just amazing.
Wow.
And I have a great relationship
Wow.
with him.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yes.
That's amazing. So out of that deficit came a new opportunity.
Yes, because we were selling, 45,000 a month or 500,000 a year, which
Yeah.
is not great for a venue in that area.
Yeah.
And now we have it almost at $2 million a year
Oh,
and gross
There you
and
go.
sales. So we took it from, it was averaging about 500,000 a year from 2016 to 2020. And when we took over, when things reopened in March 2021, we went the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, average of $2 million or almost 180,000, more or less 150,000 a month in
yeah.
sales.
Wow. Congratulations, by
Yeah.
the way.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank
And
you.
again, how many of us going in 2020 having that $20,000 deficit and not being able to open, you kind of, again, you can't find yourself like, am I going to go through this again? The
Yes.
fear, like,
Well,
do I
yeah,
keep this, right?
Do I keep it? But also, a lot of people didn't make that choice. They just gave up in 2020, 2021. Like again, that resiliency, that tenacity,
Yes.
like that's just like a common theme coming out of our conversations. It's gonna be in the show notes for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is also the other side of that. Like whether you're looking at the real estate collapse or you're looking at the shutdown in 2020, like enduring and seeing it through allows these things to now put people in a
Yes.
position where you
Yeah.
are the beneficiary of that effort
Yes.
and sticking with it even though it's difficult.
Yes.
And there's like this cliche saying, like the only way to get through it is to go through
It's
it.
to go through it.
But it's
I mean,
but it's true. There's not a lot, no lie in
hey,
that
no
at all.
argument in that.
Yeah.
No argument there. But again, it's just the resiliency again that you have, that strength, that fear. I know were you
Yeah,
afraid?
I was afraid. I had anxiety every day, dude. We all have our own demons.
Yeah.
And it's just getting to know how to defeat them and how to, cope
I like
and,
that.
Yeah, and how to gain control of it's all a mindset.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
So you have Vasa right now, which is booking 150 to 180 grand a month in events. So you're doing weddings there, quinceañeras.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much just it, or is there something else that you also have there?
For
Or?
the most part, it's weddings, and we get some quinceañeras, sweet 16s, and corporate events. And,
Oh, okay.
And corporate graduations, like PFA. We do a lot
Yeah.
of graduations for them.
Oh, okay.
We're honored and privileged to be hosting their events, but
Nice.
stuff, events of that nature. And it's
Awesome.
something that grew in me because I don't know nothing about events
Yeah.
or planning. That's more of a female driven. That
Yeah.
industry is driven by females.
Yeah.
But it's grown and me and my wife being in the trenches and understanding the business. It's not an easy business. It's not an impossible business. It's like everything. You know, everything's doable. You just have to immerse yourself in it. You have to be you have to be active in it. You just can't. You know, it took about 4 years for my wife and I to really understand the business. So now it's grown in us. And we love it. We love to celebrate people's, special events on that day. Every weekend we get to see people celebrate their lives in different contexts. It's amazing.
So
it's a
awesome.
blessing, and we get to drink for free.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a heavy drinker, guys. I drink coffee, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're like, I'm drinking my own product.
But we get to see. It's fun. It's really
that's
fun.
pretty cool. I know that I'm in the lending industry, and
Yes.
my thing that always gets me moving forward is just seeing that the happiness that the client can share with their family when they get their keys handed over to their
Yes.
home, right?
Yes.
You're participating in a different milestone, very memorable milestone in their
Yes.
life. A wedding, a 15, 16. I know as Hispanics,
Yes.
we do it like that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But what would be one of your most memorable, I would say, weddings that you probably encounter? You're like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, and I'm
question.
glad that I'm part of this.
At our venue,
Yes, correct.
like a celebration or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was Pathfinder Apprentice.
Okay.
We hosted season 11 and season 12. Actually, we did season 10, season 11, and season 12.
Okay.
We hosted their graduation, and when I saw Pastor Jurgen there, everybody from church, all these apprentices, and a third of the congregation from all different campuses, from Gracie Ranch to Balboa, Claremont, Bayho, and Eastlake, and El Cajon. I was like, my wife and I were like, wow, this is not about us. We're just a vessel. We're just a stepping stone, and we're just doing things for the kingdom unconsciously. And that's what, like, wow, this is amazing. It's
That's
still
so
surreal.
cool.
I mean, if I was to something I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is you have to be able to steward your blessings in the right direction, and you have to be able to be responsible. And I was reckless when I was 27, 28 with money, and that's how I learned. I was so reckless, and now that God has entrusted me with all these resources and some people in life, some people depend on us. So it's a big commitment. And everything I've shared, I don't mean to boast or to flaunt. I know that it can be taken away in a second, so I don't take anything for granted. But it's amazing. I'm just excited for what's up to come in the future.
Again, that humble. Take it
I
off. It's
know.
okay.
You're
These are things that you were given, these talents. The 27, 28, we all did some dumb shit.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of us. You know what?
Everyone that was in it lost something.
But that's what made us who we are.
Yes.
Because we listened, we paid attention. And here's all the opportunities. You go to Arizona because you think you're going to show home,
Yes.
but you found a different opportunity because you were searching for that opportunity.
Yes.
If you weren't searching, you would have known.
Right.
So had your aunt not come and
Yes.
you didn't okay, let's go. Here's an opportunity. A lot of us don't pay attention to those opportunities.
Right.
And again, that's why we're doing these things to help
Yes.
people. Like maybe they heard of an opportunity, like
Yes.
go take advantage of it.
Yes.
Surround yourself with winners. Surround yourself with
Yes.
people that are going to help you
Yes.
elevate your skill,
Yes.
your standard.
Yes.
So you hosting an event for the Pathfinders, seeing that audience on something that
Yes.
you built,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I get the chills thinking about it, but I can't but be very proud that you were able to host such a thing
Yes.
that really brings the community together,
Yeah.
encourages people, and makes them know
Yeah.
that I'm surrounded
Yeah.
by a
Yes.
bunch of winners.
Yes.
That's
super
freaking
cool.
awesome.
That-
Dude.
that
Good
can-
job. That's a high five right
That
there.
can
bro.
go.
that
Smart
convergence
event.
that convergence factor is like super dope. I love that because it's kind of like, again, this the cliche. It's overstated online, especially, but it's like you come from the ashes, like
Yes.
rise up from the ashes to pursue
Yes.
again and to win again and achieve. And there are a lot of those kinds of stories, and there's a lot of them floating around in the motivational space and all that kind of stuff, especially on the short form social media. But what an honor to have you
Thank you, Andy.
come and tell us that story.
Exactly.
And tell our
Thank
audience that story. And also being our friend, too.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know,
I enjoy being with you guys.
well, and I think this is another takeaway for me is that, you know, I actually did not know the 2005 to 2009 part of your story.
Yes.
I had known the, you know, the place in Arizona and Vasa and all that, but what's also important, I think, as a takeaway is like who you are around really matters, especially because you're talking about the quality of your relationships, not the quantity of them.
Yes.
And again, I know I'm saying those words, you're not saying that, but it is what you're describing.
Yes.
You're characterizing it's about the quality of the relationships and the quality of the opportunities, not just the numerical quantity of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome. I know. I'm just so proud and
It's
honored
great.
to say that, hey, I've known this kid since, oh my goodness, it was like 93, 94 since I've known him.
Yes.
He was a little, in this, he was all into motocross and stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, you were really good at that too.
I was good.
I never got to see you.
At least I thought I was good. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The rumors, the rumors were Ivan was great.
Yeah, Ivan the Great.
Yes.
You know, but here I am. I had the privilege when you were in Arizona. It was crazy because I was assisting your aunt,
Yes.
Patty, getting
Yes.
into her home. And that's
that's
how we
right.
reconnected everything again. Because it had been years that we've seen each other.
2014. That was 2014.
Yeah, you know, and so here we go again. Like we rekindled that relationship. And it was
Yes.
like, it was years since we last spoke with each other. But
Yeah.
as soon as we came back and you came to San Diego, we
Yeah.
to have like we reconnected. It's like,
Never
there-
missed a beat.
That's it.
That's so rad.
So
Yes.
it's crazy, you know?
Yeah. No, it's. I'm still in awe. Another thing is, I'm real estate gave me the confidence, actually the platform to merge into other industries.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be fear. Fear is normal. It's a good thing. Keeps you on your toes. But you got to still prepare yourself. Be around successful people. Surround yourself with people that are in the industry that you're trying to pursue. And that's the two industries I'm in. Real estate is our bread and butter. It's
Yes.
in our DNA. Our venue, Vasa, it's the second industry we're in, hospitality business, and I think I'm good with that. We love it. My wife and I embrace it. We love it. It's part of our life. And we went into
Well,
the third industry.
Yes, I wanted to ask you that.
I was going to say, okay.
Senor Pizza.
Okay, good. Yeah, talk about the third industry. You're saying two, but I know that's another one.
Well, sometimes opportunities present in the most unorthodox ways, right? So in 2020, October 23rd, 2020, I went to Puerto Vallarta to my friend's wedding. I was his best man. And one of his best friends was, I was hanging out with him prior to the wedding, a few days prior to the wedding. We were in the pool just having drinks, and we were just...
Was this a weekend? Because everything
Yes.
happens to you in the
On the
weekend.
weekend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
We were just going for the weekend.
Yeah.
It was a Friday.
Okay.
Because the wedding was
Getting close.
The wedding was on Saturday the following day, so it was Friday, October 22nd, 2020.
Yeah.
Specific date, man. It was
I love it.
4:30
I
in
love
the
it.
afternoon.
And I'm sorry, Ivan. I go back with the weekends because you join real estate in the weekend with your brother, but then you go to Arizona in the weekend. You stayed there.
always
6 years
weekends, man.
later, you come 6 weeks. You went for a weekend to your wife's
Yes.
state. You didn't like that. You came back another weekend over here to San
Yes.
Diego. You and your wife decided to stay. So
Yes.
I'm just wondering, everything happens in the
All right,
weekend
so-
for you.
Show title, Weekends with Ivan.
That's it.
You never know what's gonna happen, right? Is it gonna be fireworks or is it gonna?
You never
not gonna
know
be-
what you're going to buy.
I love it. But sorry.
So I got to know one of my friend was getting married. One of his best friends was there too, and we're in the my friend was getting married, doing the rehearsal. So I was hanging out with some of his friends, and one of his friends he asked me, "So what do you do?" So I shared with him, I own rental properties in Phoenix, and then I asked him, "What do you do?" Well, I'm the founder of a pizzeria, of this pizzeria in San Diego. We have 10 locations. I'm like, oh yeah, wow, it's amazing, and I told him, hey. Ironically, back in 2010, I was gonna buy a Little Caesars franchise in Phoenix, or 2012, but I never pursued it because I just got too caught up with real estate, and that was my lane. And but yeah, I think the pizza's a great business. I don't know nothing about it, but I've been attracted to it. And then he just bluntly asked me, "Will you be interested on representing my brand in Phoenix?" And I was a little bit buzzed or drunk. We were having mezcal with something else. I don't even drink mezcal. So I'm like, sure, let's check it out.
Cheers.
Weekends with Ivan.
Yes. So November, it was like the weekend of Thanksgiving. It was like November 22nd of 2020. We go to Phoenix. I think we went there. We got there on a Wednesday. I said, let's go to Phoenix and check out some properties that are potential for a pizzeria. So we went there. We were fast. And we got there like on a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Everything was shut down.
Yeah.
And when we found a location that during that weekend, we found a location, and then we came back to San Diego, and he educated a little bit more what the business were and the financials. So we decided to open up a place. So we found a location by December. We were drunk in a pool.
November.
On October.
Oh, October, yeah.
We were having cocktails at this pool in Puerto Vallarta. And fast forward December, we're already under contract on the first pizzeria in Phoenix on 40th Street in Camelback in Scottsdale. And I'm like, this is, they're small joints, but they're very, they're good margins. If they work out, they're great margins.
Yeah.
They're like 1,200 square feet, small joints, not a restaurant or big fast food.
Yeah.
So I was attracted to that. And he showed me his business model. So you're like, I'll take a risk. It sounds like a very noble industry. I don't know anything about it, but I think we can put something together with your support. So we did. So in April of 2022 is when we opened our first. We did the grand inauguration.
Dang. Okay.
Wow.
And
Pizza.
Pizza
sells good. I love that's my favorite food.
And some of the people came and supported us, like from church, Chris Aguilar, Chris Sheridan, Maddie Lee, Carlos Rivera, their wives, my wife. It was an amazing party, dude. And we started kicking rear the first 5 months. We were positive, like, wow, this is cool. And then by the end of the year, the sales started to shift downward. And what happens is we're in the wrong look. There's so many factors.
Yeah.
But,
all I know is, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt here, but I loved it when you were open, and then, you had a picture with Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes. Actually, you brought up a good point, Memo, because we're in a very nice location. We're around on 40th Street in Camelback, which is the border of Scottsdale, Arcadia, and Biltmore. And it's an affluent area. That's why we were attracted to it, because it's an affluent area. And actually, Robert Kiyosaki lives about 2 blocks down the street. And he comes once in a while. Alice Cooper, Charles Barkley, a few celebrities.
Oh, really?
Come there. Yeah.
Dang.
Actually, the Phoenix Suns practice headquarters is literally 2 blocks down the street. So that's why I was a little bit confused. Like, dude, we're in a great area. It's good pizza. But actually, there's so many factors where the visibility was not the best. The parking's not the best. We're new to the industry. We have one location there. And I don't blame anybody. It's just things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we invested about close to, like $600,000 for this joint. And, we're going to get it. We're selling it now. We're still open, but we're selling it. And I'm grateful, but we're going to take a loss. We're going to take a big loss. We're probably going to lose about $600,000, and it's hard. But I'm glad. There's a blessing in this major challenge or loss or failure, whatever you want to call it, failure. But it's a temporary failure. I see the blessing for me is I'm glad I jumped on this third industry on $600,000, which is for me it's a lot of money. For some people, for Trump or Richard Branson, his pocket change a penny. But for me, it's a lot of money. But I'm glad I did it on $600,000, because had I not do it on $600,000, let's say 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, I could have been proposed to open up a sports bar or a bigger operation, a bigger restaurant. Which actually I've been proposed to open sports bars here in Eastlake, but I'm like, nah, it's not my lane.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did it, because I know I would have done it at a higher scale later. So lessons learned. I learned a lot. I can share with people about my losses. And I'm going to stick to my two industries, which
That's
is
awesome.
real estate, long-term holds, long-term wealth, legacy,
Yeah.
blessings there, and the hospitality, which is the venues.
Yeah.
And
That's so
because
awesome.
we love them. It's part of our blood, and we love it. We embrace it.
Well, thanks for sharing that vulnerability too, because it's not everything. Not every business is at a win. There's his losses, there's his precautions we have to take. I know 2023 was a very difficult year for us lenders, realtors. Limited supply of homes, et cetera, affordability not being there. But we have to pivot, right? We have to just adjust. And a lot of times there's nothing wrong with just being tunnel vision.
Right.
I attribute a lot to my success from 2010 all the way to present. I was very tunnel vision. Providing a good, service for my clients, making sure I was on my tiptoes with everything that came up. Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But there's also missed opportunities when you're too tunnel vision.
Yes.
Yes. And so the great thing is you were able to be tunnel vision in your real estate, but then when you saw an opportunity with your aunt, that's where you were able to combine those two things and stay in your lane still.
Correct.
And so there's nothing wrong with that now. That doesn't make you tunnel vision. That just makes you open and prone to, being open to other opportunities.
Yes.
So Vasa is just phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that. And I immediately thought short-term rental, like you do for VRBO or for Airbnb. You're like, you basically have this awesome short-term rental that people rent for the night or the day,
Yes.
and they're just dropping this
Yes.
substantial amount of money,
Yes.
and they're gone, and the next one's coming right back in. I mean, it's very much a I know this is a rough, pretty gross example. It's an unrefined example. I'll admit that it's an unrefined example, but you're talking about making $180 or $150 to $180,000 a month on this short-term use on the commercial property. That's awesome, and that is not the case for a lot of places. Let's admit that. So again, you're not going to boast. I'll boast. That is not the case for most places. Let's be candid. Number one. Number two, most people will not see through the initial stages of getting there to have the patients who actually experience getting there. Yes. And then number three, I think that you have to also attract that too. There has to be something beyond the page, beyond the Excel spreadsheet, beyond the income that attracts someone to say, I'm willing to spend and separate myself from this $10, $15, $20,000 at your place, not someone else's.
Yeah,
and I think that might go understated, but I think that makes a real big difference. You have to have an amazing place, and you do have an amazing place, but it has to be amazing for someone to go, I'm willing to separate that much money for this.
Yes. And I attribute that, and thank you for sharing that, Andy, and you brought up a good point, and I'll elaborate more on that. I attribute all that, Vasa, to my amazing staff. I mean, my wife, Victoria, my amazing team, Confidence, Carlo, Oscar, and I mean, we would not be able to do it without them. We have, our IT department, our sales department, our public relations department, our operations department, our wedding planning department, our catering department, our audio and sound engineering department, our security department, our chefs, our mixologists, I mean, it's a combination of like 20 different subs under one umbrella happening under. I mean, it's a whole team.
Yeah.
And it all has to synchronize.
What a
one night.
What a list. What a list, and so many people.
So
specializations.
I give them credit. If I'm just the guy who's trying to, I see the Charles. I mean, I always compare putting a team and your partners and your employees and your VPs and your presidents. I see them as this is Charles Barkley. This is Michael Jordan.
Wow.
This is Kobe Bryant. I'm Phil Jackson. I'm just here to put the team together.
Nice.
But without the team, Phil Jackson cannot flourish, and without Phil Jackson, the team cannot flourish. That's the best way to explain it. Because when people ask me, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I do everything." But it's hard. Entrepreneur sounds kind of cocky.
Yeah.
But I just tell people I'm in two industries, and that's what I do. But if I was to describe myself, I describe myself like a head coach of a team, and the team cannot win a Super Bowl without the whole team.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's how you win a championship is what it is.
That's so awesome.
That's awesome, man.
So rad.
So tell me one thing that you would advise somebody that's coming in. Obviously, we have all this social media. They make it look so darn easy. They make it look like, I'm driving Lambo, Ferrari, all this stuff, right? It's easy.
Yes.
Right? And we're already, hearing all of this, it's not easy. It comes with a lot of work. It comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of fear. What advice would you give somebody that's coming into the industry in the real estate or in the catering business, event planning, etc.?
My advice to them, I'm going to try to condense it the best I can. My advice is whatever industry they want to pursue or dream, become involved with the community that is proactive in that interest, whether it's music, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's artistic, or whether it's an investments or a real estate community. Whatever that is, you want to be part of that specific community to meet like-minded individuals that are in that pursuit. And then within that community or those roundtables, you're going to meet people that the interests, they all have the common interest, right? Whatever the endeavor it is, but they're all different levels. You're going to find individuals that have been in that industry for 20 years, 30 years, 5 years, and you want to be part of that. You want to and participate. And for example, I'll use someone that wants to pursue interest in real estate investing, long-term holds. My advice would be, and I'll use that as an example, my advice would be join a local real estate investors roundtable community. I don't know if I can do shout outs, but
pros, or you could do whatever you want.
You can join TCA, and that's one of the fast and upcoming growing real estate investment institutes. I call them
And that acronym stands for?
the Chris Aguilar Group.
There you go.
Yep.
The Chris Aguilar Group it's an amazing community for anybody that wants to become involved in real estate in any aspect of investment, whether it's flip homes, whether it's buy and hold, whether it's long-term holds, whatever that is. So be part of a community, and then that's where being engaged and participating in a community is going to start opening doors towards that goal that you have.
Nice.
And that's the only advice I have. And just be ready and committed to do your homework, to do your due diligence, to get educated. You know, you're not just gonna find a house and just buy it and flip it and collect your profit. It doesn't work that way.
Really?
It doesn't work that way. You have to understand, and the way to understand it and learn it is being involved with the community, because you have to understand construction or rehab, financing, mitigating risk, understanding tenants. And I'm not trying to scare you guys off. I'm just saying those are the things that you have to factor in, and it's not impossible. You just have to be committed and disciplined. If you're part of that community, in that particular context that I'm using as an example, you're going to be fine. And there's always going to be fear. Fear is normal, but you gotta do your homework. You gotta do your due diligence. Be a part of a proactive group or some business that is already, they're seasoned, they're winning, they're flourishing. Be part of it. You can be a part of it as a volunteer, as an entry level apprentice, whatever that is. Just be a part of something, of whatever you're pursuing, a community, and everything else with persistence. It'll start falling into place.
Yeah, persistence, consistency, right? Very important thing.
That simple.
And when you're surrounded by the people that are like-minded, it becomes fun.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And easier.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice. And that's something that we all use. I know we could stay here for days, guys. I mean, and Ivan, you're a wealth of knowledge. You have so many things to share. And I know you got a lot of, I'm not going to spoil the alert here, but you got a lot of things going on right now still.
Yes.
Going with Vasa, having your real estate portfolio. I mean, there's a lot more that you're still doing now. Yes. So I would love to share that. Is it okay for us to share now that we'll have you once again on the show?
I'll be honored, dude.
There you go.
Absolutely. I love you guys. I love this. I love sharing stuff.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We got the commit.
So here it is. I'm going to ask one last question because I have to, right?
Go. Yeah.
We all have a superpower, right?
Yes.
If we had to share what your superpower is, what would you say that superpower is of yours?
Discernment.
All right.
Yeah. And it was given by God.
That's a good one. Show's over. Bye.
Yes.
Nah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing that.
What a great answer.
Thank you, man. With that said, Ivan, is there any question or anything that you feel we should have asked you that we didn't?
No, actually, you guys asked me some great questions. I think we covered almost everything.
Perfect.
Yeah. Family, life, business, mitigating risk, wins, losses, lessons learned, family, and we're coming back.
That's it.
I mean,
That's
if you guys
it.
invite me, I'm back.
Oh, I love
glad.
it. Yeah.
And I know there's more stories because also I know there's more things you're working on you're going to come back, and when we come to do this episode again for this or round 2, you're going to have something new to share, some new wisdom, and some more discernment to bestow upon everyone else that's watching. So, Ivan, thank you so much for sharing your part of your time, which is more valuable than I think I thought of.
You're funny, Andy.
So, thank you for sharing some of your time. I'll say investing some of your time with us. So I hope that a lot of people learn something, at least one thing, if not 10 or 12, just from this episode alone.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here. Memo, thank you so much for booking Ivan to come on the show. I know you guys know each other forever, but it's so awesome to have the conversations that we just have in corners and in passing, like now we're having it here in this format. This has been tremendous. So thank you for the invite. Ivan, thank you for saying yes.
Yeah. And then one last thing, Ivan, I know we got Vasa. If people need to find you or ask you any questions or book a venue, whether it be a quince, corporate sponsor or
coffee or dinner,
whatever it is, where can they find you? Where would you like them to, find you? Or
they can go to vasasandiego.com. Vasa is V as in vehicle, A as in Alex, S as in Sam, A as in Alex, sandiego.com. Just go into the website, go contact that number on the website and just ask for me.
Perfect. That's awesome. Perfect. Yeah. And then you guys more than welcome to go. I'm telling you, North Park, the venue is beautiful. Very nice place, very comfortable. The food is nothing but delicious. So Yeah, Ivan, once again, I can't thank you enough. How honored, privileged we are to have you here, my friend, my brother, from another mother, like we say. Audience, please, there was a lot of great golden nuggets out there that's being shared, you know, and we're going to continue to bring this to you. Chris Aguilar, I know that's another powerhouse.
Yes.
Another brother from us.
We can come together one day.
That's it. We're going to try to get him on board here with us so that he can share his story. And I'll tell you, not all of us had it as easy as you may think, you know?
Yes.
And everything's been a grind. Everything's been hard work, but we are where we're at because of that.
Endure.
Yes.
So
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Ivan, thanks again for joining the show. And thank you all for watching Friends of Mortgage Heroes. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that every time we drop a new episode, you hear about it first, and you can join us for another great guest next week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you then.
see ya.